Okay, we're going to get started. So good morning and welcome to today's webinar, Resolution, Keep Email Lists Lean and Clean. My name is Emily Cornelius and I am the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at Vigorate. I'll be doing the introduction. Today's webinar is the first in our new webinar series, Demonstrate. Our Demonstrate webinar series seeks to start the conversation about the issues, trends, challenges, and news affecting digital marketers. It will help you stay informed on anti-spam laws, mobile trends, CRM strategies, and more with a new subject matter expert every topic to present case studies, facts, specific experiences, and learnings in short, digestible chunks and give you the opportunity to ask those burning questions. We really want to be cognizant of everyone's busy schedules, so we've decided to make these short, action-packed webinars. Throughout the webinar, you can ask any questions that you may have on List Cleanse, either by typing them into the GoToWebinar chat box on your screen, or you can send us a tweet at Vigorate Digital, and don't forget the hashtag DemonstrateWebinar. Today's presenter is Jennifer Balogh. She is the Senior Director of Account Management and Strategy here at Vigorate. Jennifer has been with Vigorate for over 7 years now, providing direct clients and agencies expertise as it relates to online marketing and strategy. She has extensive experience scoping out, managing the development of, and analyzing the email programs for clients in the CPG, retail, pharmaceutical, financial services, automotive, pharma, alcohol, not-for-profit, and telco industries. Jennifer has worked with many clients to develop marketing strategies designed to move prospects and customers along the lifecycle continuum and enhance lifetime value. Prior to Vigorate, Jennifer was at the Loyalty Group working as a marketing manager within the Air Miles Reward Program, a marketing communications manager at Bell Canada, and she has also logged experience at Cogeco Cable in the marketing communications and customer service departments. So without further ado, here she is. Welcome, Jennifer Balogh.
Thanks so much, Emily, and thanks to everyone for joining us here today. Most email marketers are concerned with the design, the content, and the growth of their email lists, but many have overlooked one aspect that's equally important, list hygiene. I think one of the reasons for this oversight is the mystery that surrounds the data, and people tend to ignore what they don't necessarily understand. I'm going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes today explaining what exactly list hygiene entails, what are the benefits to keeping your list clean, and a few things you can do quickly and easily to reap the rewards. So first off, what exactly is list hygiene? Ensuring your email list contains addresses that are accurate, current, and have legally opted in and are deliverable is an ongoing process. ISPs like Hotmail and Gmail are constantly changing their policies, blocking techniques, and filtering algorithms, so what may have been acceptable yesterday may no longer be the case today. Staying on top of this always changing environment is a full-time job, so having an email service provider that's up to speed and current on these changes can relieve you of the responsibility and the unnecessary stress that comes along with it. Another service a good ESP can provide is a list cleanse, which is an initial shoring up of processes and can set the stage for your deliverability success down the line. So who exactly should consider doing a list cleanse? Not everybody necessarily needs to do a one-off list cleanse, but email marketers who acquire a large number of email addresses due to a promotion or an event, or have located a database that they want to start communicating to should definitely consider it. Also, any marketers who've restarted an email program that was once dormant, or who want to target a segment of subscribers who haven't been contacted in a long time may also want to conduct a list cleanse. Or if you've been using an email service provider that wasn't properly managing opt-outs or hard bounces, and invalid subscribers weren't necessarily being removed from your email list, or even if you're a little bit unsure of your ESP's processes around suppression, definitely look into a list cleanse to get your database into shape. So what are some of the benefits of doing a list cleanse? A list cleanse aims to remove bad addresses from your email deployment list. As a result, your bounce rates and your overall deliverability will be positively impacted. Potential spam traps will be identified and removed, and your overall open and click-through rates will most definitely improve. Having the garbage come off your list allows marketers to better understand the actual opted-in volume versus the perceived volume. And as a result of mailing to less people, there could also be some cost savings as well. How often should marketers consider doing a list cleanse? There are a couple scenarios that warrant a list cleanse. Anytime that marketers want to add a significant number of email addresses to their ongoing email database, the idea should really be considered. Think about an event or a contest in which you're collecting email addresses as part of an acquisition objective, for example. As long as you're removing opt-outs and hard bounces as they occur in real time and are contacting new opt-ins one at a time versus in a large batch, a mass list cleanse is not likely required on a regular basis. Practicing good list hygiene, however, is something that should never stop. So what specifically is a list cleanse cleansing? A good list cleanse identifies and quarantines blatantly bad email addresses due to a variety of reasons. Some of those reasons include removing duplicate email addresses, syntax errors, which include malformed email addresses, for example, those that are missing necessary components such as the @ symbol, the dot symbol, or the extension, and it can also include typographical errors. A list cleanse should also remove bad domains such as those that are not valid, are incorrect, or may have expired. So we can all remember Canada.com, for example. If you have any addresses that are on your list from Canada.com, we suggest that you remove those and would come off of a list cleanse. We also would remove bogus email addresses such as test@test.com or other known addresses that are often used by anti-spam activists. Not necessarily invalid, but are likely to be are those addresses missing an MX record. So what do we do once we've identified the bad addresses? A list cleanse should ultimately produce 3 files. The first file includes the clean addresses. And while there's still the possibility that the clean addresses may not be valid, we use this definition to apply to those addresses that meet our business rules. For example, they don't have syntax errors, they have MX records, and they follow the correct format, for example. The second file will include your garbage addresses. We're fairly confident that these addresses are bad and will recommend their removal altogether. The third file will include suspect addresses and their suggested alternative addresses. So consider the case of handwritten email addresses that somebody entered into a database and made a simple typo apply entry. Together, the client and the email service provider can make a decision as to whether to contact the subscriber or not based on the correction that we've suggested. So what are some other considerations that email marketers should make to keep the integrity of their email database strong? First and foremost, practice double or confirmed opt-in. This is the gold standard of the opt-in process and requires that subscribers must click on a link and validate their email address before they're rolled into your ongoing deployment list. This ensures that all emails you send are valid, qualified contacts right from the get-go. To avoid triggering ISP spam filters, you can also consider throttling your emails or sending your emails into smaller chunks over a longer period of time. This is an especially important strategy if you're in the process of warming a new IP address or if you're unsure about the validity of email addresses on your list. If a large number of your emails bounce within a short period of time, ISPs could choose to block your emails, which could quickly damage your sending reputation. You may even decide to send emails to new subscribers that were not acquired using double or confirmed opt-in from a different IP address altogether until you're certain the address is valid. Address your inactive subscribers in a unique way. Consider this. Spammers buy and steal email addresses, so ISPs mark abandoned email addresses as spam traps to help identify the spammers out there. Even if you acquired an email in a perfectly legal way, they may have since become a spam trap. To clarify this, recycled spam traps were once used by a real person and are recycled by ISPs into spam traps. Before turning an abandoned email address into a spam trap, ISPs will return unknown user codes for 1 year. Once ISPs reactivate the abandoned email address, mail is once again allowed by the email address. If you're hitting a recycled spam trap, this typically indicates your data hygiene process is not working. Many email marketers are not aware that ISPs base their complaint rates on your active subscribers and not your total subscribers. It's not a true representation if you're calculating complaint rates based on your entire database. The ISPs are definitely not doing that. They started to calculate complaint rates this way when spammers started appending their lists with inactive email addresses to deflate their overall complaint rate, and so the ISPs have responded in kind. Many email marketers still think that bigger is better, but consider this. Once you've damaged your IP sending reputation due to sending too many emails to invalid or inactive subscribers, your email may land in the junk folder, or worse off, not even make it past the ISP gateway at all. Active subscribers who actually want to be receiving your emails may not. Consider the time since your subscribers opted into your database and when you last contacted them. Even if someone didn't initially opt in to receive your emails, if you haven't contacted them for a long period of time, they may have forgotten opting into your program and report your email as spam, or the email may have since become a recycled spam trap, the implications of which we've already touched on. While a double or confirmed opt-in should technically validate an email address upon subscription, email marketers might also consider sending new subscribers a separate welcome email or welcome program and deploy those emails from a separate IP address until you're sure of the email's validity. Welcome emails can also serve other purposes, such as setting the expectations to your subscribers and encouraging them to add your sending domain to their safe sender list. So I've basically tried to summarize some of the things that any good email marketer should think about when it comes to maintaining a good current email deployment list. By making list hygiene a conscious effort instead of a passing thought, you'll ensure the long-term integrity of your email marketing efforts. I've really just scratched the surface on some of the topics surrounding list hygiene, and if you have any questions or would like to discuss any of the points I've covered off in more detail, please feel free to get in touch with me by email, by phone, or via LinkedIn. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. That was great. We will be answering some of the questions, as I mentioned before. We just need to take a second to gather them up. So while we're doing that, I just want to briefly introduce our next webinar in our Demonstrate webinar series. It will be on February 27th, and it will be on CASL, Canada Anti-Spam Law. The webinar will be hosted by Sean Brown, who actually worked as a consultant to the Canadian government while writing Canadian Anti-Spam Law. Sean will be covering what the new industry regulations mean to you and your digital marketing strategy. To learn more about the upcoming webinar in February or our Demonstrate webinar series, you can head over to our website, vigoratedigital.com, and click the Demonstrate webinar tab. Okay, so we're going to get started here with some questions. And again, any we don't get to will be answered on our LinkedIn and our Twitter page later on today. So first question. At what point in time should you categorize an email address as being dormant or inactive?
Thanks, Emily. I think different marketers are going to have different definitions of dormant and inactive, but for the sake of this discussion, I'd really qualify anybody who hasn't opened or clicked on your emails for more than 6 months as falling into this category. Not only can dormant email address become recycled spam traps, as I spoke to, but having non-active subscribers on your email list can also negatively impact your email metrics, such as your open and your click-through rates. And also, your sender reputation can suffer as well because ISPs are looking at how many of your subscribers are ignoring your emails from 1 month to the next, and that inactivity will actually be factored into your overall sender score as well. So something I would probably recommend is consider re-engaging some of these folks, create a re-engagement strategy for this segment specifically, And if they're still not responding, then I would consider removing them from your ongoing deployments altogether.
Okay. So the next question, approximately how many addresses should I expect to remove after a list cleanse?
So I get a lot of client questions asking about what typically happens in the industry, and I always preface it with, the answer is definitely going to vary by client. There's a lot of factors at play here. It could be their industry, it could be their acquisition strategies, the size of their database, their frequency of contact, the volume of email addresses. All of these types of things would really impact my answer to this question. But again, I guess generally speaking, I've seen anywhere from, about 10% of the addresses coming off the top after conducting a list cleanse. We managed to save about 1 or 2% of some of the lists that would have otherwise, some of the email addresses that would have otherwise been discarded had we just scrapped them all together.
Okay. You mentioned that if you are adding a significant number of addresses to your list, you should consider a list cleanse. What do you consider a significant number?
Again, this is going to vary by client, but if you're not practicing a double or confirmed opt-in or contacting your subscribers as they opt into your database in a gradual one-by-one kind of manner, I'd seriously consider doing a list cleanse. Because even if you manage to slip past the ISP spam filters and fly under the radar and not get blocked, if a significant number of email addresses are bouncing, the ISPs are always watching this kind of behavior. So again, significant would vary from one ISP to the next, some being extremely stringent by their definitions. So the rule of thumb here is if there's some kind of action that you can take to improve the integrity of your email list, I don't know why an email marketer wouldn't take it. But again, if you have a specific scenario that you'd like to run past me, I'd be happy to chat with you about it. So please give me a call or send me an email, and we can give you some recommendations on what makes the most sense for you in your situation.
Okay, and we're just going to ask one more question here, and then again, any we didn't get to will be posted on our Twitter and LinkedIn page later. Based on this, I'm kind of nervous about the aggressive list acquisition strategies my company has taken and wonder if we should avoid these types of blitzes moving forward.
So I just don't think it's a realistic expectation that marketers are going to simply stop with their acquisition strategies. And a good acquisition strategy will be part of any good marketing mix. But being responsible with the information you collect is the critical piece of the puzzle here. So while I don't discourage marketers from aggressively acquiring more subscribers, it's being conscientious about who you're targeting, how you're communicating with them, and then knowing when to let them go when the time is right.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, Jennifer.
No problem.
Again, if you have any questions later today or tomorrow, feel free to reach out to us. All the contact information is there on